The OnePlus 9 event is over and they gave us 2 new smartphones, a new smartwatch, and a lot to talk about. Hey guys, Jonathan with Retethered here, and OnePlus announced today their all-new OnePlus 9, OnePlus 9 Pro, and OnePlus Watch. OnePlus actually reached out to me to send me out these devices early so I could do a review on it, but I declined it. I just don't have any time to do a review. I told them I would do a first impressions of their event, and that's what I'm doing here. Just kidding, OnePlus. Please send me out these devices for review. DM me on Twitter and I can send you my shipping address. Anyways, let's start off with the 2 OnePlus smartphones, the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro. These smartphones are surprisingly similar, but there's a difference that's surprisingly large. Did that make sense? Let's look at what's similar, the cameras. That's where the main focus of the OnePlus 9 series is. OnePlus has been working with Hasselblad to create a unique camera experience. Hasselblad has taken the camera hardware in the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro and has added their camera aesthetics and color science to get the, at least according to OnePlus, the best photos and video on any OnePlus phone so far. And I don't deny that because usually the latest smartphone model has the best camera experience, at least when compared to the previous models of that smartphone. And if you're a Hasselblad camera fan, you might really love the pictures that the OnePlus 9 series of phones is able to get. They also added the iconic Hasselblad shutter sound and the orange shutter button, and even the watermark that says shot on OnePlus and Hasselblad. Not really sure if this is a big deal. Maybe it is to Hasselblad fans, but they talked about it. OnePlus also talked about how the 50 megapixel ultra-wide sensor that the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro has is going to be larger than other camera sensors on other smartphones. It's a 1 by 1.56 inch camera sensor size, and they mentioned, to be exact, it was 320% larger than the iPhone 12 Pro Max's main camera sensor. And that was also kind of the theme of today's event. OnePlus seemed to be throwing shade at Apple multiple times in the event.
Even larger than the iPhone 12 Pro Max's main sensor. Just look at how little noise there is in the OnePlus 9 Pro photo here.
Apples to oranges, or OnePlus to Apple, our wireless charging is even faster than a lot of wire charging.
But having a larger camera sensor means just having better image quality and more detail, especially in low light. There's also a 48 megapixel main Sony camera sensor on board, which OnePlus mentioned is also larger than the competition. They didn't go into percentages this time, but they said it's larger. There's also a 2 megapixel monochrome sensor on both the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro, which should help to get better black and white photos. So if you're into that, this might be a useful camera sensor. The only difference between the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro, at least when it comes to camera sensors, is the OnePlus 9 Pro is going to have an additional 8 megapixel telephoto lens. Both are capable of 8K 30 frames per second video. You can also record in 4K with both smartphones, but only the Pro has 4K 120 frames per second. And both will have a Hasselblad Pro mode in the camera app as well. So these smartphones are pretty similar when it comes to camera and camera features, but now let's talk about the displays. And I'll say this, if you want the absolutely best display on any OnePlus phone, you'll have to go with the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now that doesn't mean the OnePlus 9 has a bad display, but it's just pretty generic. The OnePlus 9 has a 6.55 inch 2400 by 1080 120 Hz fluid AMOLED display. The OnePlus 9 Pro has a 6.7 inch 3216 by 1400 with 120 Hz fluid AMOLED with LTPO technology. I know I just said a lot, and a lot of that may mean nothing to you, but let me try to explain what that means. LTPO brings 50% less power consumption by adapting the refresh rate from 120 Hz to 1 Hz based on the content you're watching. The OnePlus 9 Pro will also have Hyper Touch technology on the display, which will give you more responsive touches. So in other words, it's just an all-around better display for the OnePlus 9 Pro. Both phones will have a Snapdragon 888 processor, both will have a 4500 mAh battery, and OnePlus has added wireless charging to both of these smartphones as well, but the OnePlus 9 Pro will have this all-new 50-watt wireless charging capability built in. And the regular OnePlus 9 will have up to 15-watt wireless charging. Not to mention, both will come with OnePlus's Warp Charge 65T. That means you'll be getting a charging brick inside the box, which is different from other companies. As you can see, these phones are really similar. Most features are going to be found on both of these phones, not to mention the design is pretty identical. But remember, I mentioned one big difference. Well, it's the price. The OnePlus 9 Pro starts at $1,069. The OnePlus 9 starts at $729, so more than a $300 difference. Now, is the OnePlus 9 Pro worth the $340 more it costs? Well, that's going to be up to you, but it does make the OnePlus 9 look a lot better, like a much better value. The Pro version will have a better display, better battery life, an extra camera sensor, and a few more features. But that's pretty much it. Now, there was also a OnePlus Watch announced at this event. It has a sleek circular design, it's IP68 water resistant, it's going to have an optical heart rate and blood oxygen sensor, and OnePlus claims it will get a crazy good 14 days of battery life. And if that's true, that's amazing. At least when you compare it to something like the Apple Watch, right? Which usually only gets about 2 days. This is going to get 14 days. At least that's what OnePlus says. It won't be using Wear OS, but instead it will use an RTOS style software setup similar to Fitbit. OnePlus does promise that they will have a few different watch faces available at launch, and there will be more to come in the future. It's going to start at only $159, and there's also going to be a special edition Cobalt version of the OnePlus Watch, which I'm sure will cost more, but they haven't released a price of that one just yet. When it comes to functionality, there's really nothing that stands out, at least in my opinion. This just seems like a watch that OnePlus is giving their fans of their phones so they can have something. And that was pretty much it. 3 interesting devices, a few accessories, including some gaming triggers that snap onto your OnePlus phone, but nothing really that stood out, at least to me personally. I expect the cameras to be better on the 9 series phones when compared to the previous version, but how does it compare to other smartphones like the iPhone 12 Pro or the Galaxy S21? We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully this gave you a better idea of what OnePlus announced today and if these devices are right for you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos just like this one on tech news, reviews, and opinions, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.